I have so many people that come to me with all the things that they think they have to worry about. IPI numbers. Is this similar to my EIN number? By the way, it's not. How do I get into disco? And why would I get into disco? And does it make me any money? And what if I don't like the Bee Gees? Should I get a sync agent? Should I go directly to a music supervisor? Or should I go to a music library? Somewhere there's a joke that I haven't made yet, but a sync agent, a music supervisor, and a music library owner walk into a bar. I don't know how it goes, but the punchline has something to do with exclusivity, I think. Should I put my music into Pond 5? Everybody talks about Pond 5, including me. If I want bigger money for the songs I'm going to release, should I put them in Pond 5 if I also want to put them in sync? How do I get someone to listen when my music is ready? That's got to be so important, is getting someone to listen to my music. Everyone keeps telling me I need to get into licensing, and I found your channel, and I can't believe this thing exists. I know, right? There's so many questions about so many things about what to do with your music. But the thing is, people usually don't have the music, or enough of it, to really show anyone. Or you're just not sure if you're ready, or you're just starting, or I could go on. And I will. Because on this week's podcast, we are going to talk about the most important thing you can do and have as an artist, as a composer, and as a producer ready to make music income. Well, welcome to the Make Music Income podcast. My name is Eric Copeland. It says so right here. And on this show, I talk about the constantly changing world of music income, including music licensing, music royalties, music composing, arranging, producing, being an artist, making sheet music and selling sheet music, teaching music, church music, any kind of music, and any other way I find that I could make music income. But I have to make that music income with songs. I can't make it without the songs. And so today's show, as usual, is sponsored by MakeMusicIncome.com, where you can find all our free and paid ebooks, courses, and one-on-one coaching. And I also have a program called Positive Spin Partners that allows you to compose and produce directly with me, and we make music income. Some people have been doing that this very week, and we're getting albums signed doing that. It really comes from my producer background, and so that's how and why I'm doing it. But I'm just glad you're here. Thanks for being here and sharing a little bit of your time with me, and I hope today's podcast and all the things that I do help you make the music that you love and want to make and make music income. I want to talk today about the most important thing in music. Let's first, though, talk about the things that we think are most important. And a lot of people have a lot of thoughts. And I have to tell you that this was kind of brought on by a conversation I had yesterday with someone I was working with in consultation. And we met in person, and he had all of these notes and thoughts and questions, and just spitting out numbers and thoughts and all this stuff. And it made me realize there can be some confusion with people about all of this stuff, about this whole deal, not just licensing or not just whatever, but all of music and your music career and the things that you think are most important. So I wanted to go over some of the things that I think people think are most important before we get to what's most important. Gigs, Is gigs the most important thing? Sure, you can make some money from them, but is that the most important thing to have? Well, you have to have something to get gigs. Gear, is gear the most important thing? Well, gear is important. I tell you, I am down as far as gear to one Mac Mini, this keyboard, which is a Native Instruments S61 Mark II. It's not even the newest one. And then I do have another MIDI controller. That's a piano MIDI controller, the SL88 Grand. And I have my Native Instruments machine, Mark III, something. Anyway, those are the only outboard pieces I have. Everything else, and this microphone, everything else, and 2 speakers. I don't have a lot of other gear. Everything else happens inside the computer for me. So I think you got to be careful with this trap. Getting a record deal, is that the most important thing? Is that the most important thing that we should be doing, is getting a record deal? Getting into a library? Everybody wants to get into music libraries, music licensings. Some people will even pay for it to try to get people to listen to their songs and send them on and be a vehicle to get them to a library. I have my own vehicle to libraries. It's the newest thing. It's called email. It's true. Recording. Should I be recording? Should I be hiring a producer? Should I be a producer? This is probably, you need to do this at some point. Actually, all of this stuff you should probably be doing at one point. Do I need to know someone, an agent, a manager, a music library owner, a sync agent? Sure. Yeah, you do. Still not the most important. Do I need to set up my PRO? Do I need to be in BMI or ASCAP? Do I need to register my songs? Do I need to do all that? Do I need to do it right now? Because I don't want anybody to steal my songs. Speaking of, do I need to copyright my songs? Do I need to set up a business and have an LLC and have an EIN? What those are not important, especially right now, especially in the context of this conversation of what is the most important thing right now, especially if you're just starting in all of this. Should you sign up for Pond 5 and for stock music sites? You hear everybody talk about people are making money on this. People making money on that. Should you build a website? Sure, but still not the most important thing. Publicity, definitely not the most important thing. Social media. Should I be doing social media? Absolutely not the most important thing. If anything you could drop, it's social media. Money. Do I need more money to do this? Or do I need money? I need to make money. Isn't that the most important thing? No, that's not the most important thing, my friends. The most important thing is the songs. If you are struggling to get started in music licensing, getting on Spotify, being an artist, being a producer and trying to get clients, doing any host of things that is going to be dependent on songs, don't you think you should be working on the songs first? This is how I started as a songwriter and how most of you have started. I doubt any of you started this career and said, oh, I'm just going to get into music, and started doing things that did not involve songs. Especially if you wanted to be a songwriter or a composer. How were you going to become a composer or songwriter if you never wrote any songs? That's how I got hundreds and now thousands of songs. I started writing them and I worked on them. Same as starting as a music producer. I could never start as a music producer and try to get work from people that needed help producing their music, which I still do, if I never wrote and produced and arranged and helped people with their songs. The songs are paramount. The songs come first. There is no getting music to a music library or a music supervisor or a record label or even an artist getting music to a fan on Spotify. If you don't have the song, you can't upload anything. You can take classes on DistroKid and CD Baby and all that stuff before you have songs, but it's useless. Let me tell you, it's much easier to learn about CD Baby when you're actually uploading a song to CD Baby or uploading a song to DistroKid. And it's also doing all of this how I built a career and started with music licensing. I wrote, this is paramount to what my course is about. There's a whole section on this where I talk about when I decided and heard about sync licensing, I knew that the first thing I had to do was to get together a album of songs. And it's the first thing you need to do. Most people come to me, they've got a song or two, or they're asking, how do I get in licensing? How do I get in licensing? How do I get in this? How do I get in that? How do I get them copyrighted? What do you have to copyright? What do you have to get into licensing with? When I was going to start this, I heard about it. I said, I'm going to do this. I started writing songs, and then I started producing those songs specifically for television usage, specifically positive pop songs that I knew that could be used in television shows, because that was what I was going after. I took a class too, just like all of you. I didn't have YouTube videos as much back in the about 2016, 2017 as there are now. But I knew enough as a longtime music producer and artist as well that I had to have songs before I approached anybody. I couldn't approach anybody. And one of the biggest mistakes I think you can make is paying someone or emailing someone without a song to show them. Don't do that. Don't send someone an email saying, I think I'd be great for your library. I don't have the songs yet, or they're not finished yet, but I think I'd be great for your library. Don't do that. Don't talk to anybody in the music business. Don't network without any songs to show off. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the meeting with anyone, at the end of the email, if there's not a way for them to check out how you are at music, then what's the point? That there is no point. So in order to get started with any of this, you got to have the songs. So I wrote and produced the songs for sync. And then I found out about stock music after I was already in a library, a sync library. And then I found out about stock, and I said, yeah, I can throw my B stuff into this. Like, I've got a lot of B or C category songs that I'm not going to be pitching to sync libraries, but I could put them in some stock music libraries. And then I started writing a little bit specifically for stock libraries to try to make some money there, and it's worked. I still make money from that. About $250 to $300 a month I still make from lots of non-sync uses. So, but that would not have happened. I couldn't just like join Pond 5 and then not put anything in there. A lot of people do. A lot of people join Pond 5 and they said, I joined Pond 5. I'm like, great. I was accepted by Pond 5. Fantastic. I don't have any songs in there because I'm still working on the songs. And that's what I'm talking about. People want to get into sheet music. I'm into sheet music. I love sheet music. People want to get into it, but yet they don't make any. They don't do, and it's a lot of work for a lot of people. Some people come up with the whole sheet music side of things. And so it's much easier for people who went to school and know more about notation and all that kind of stuff to do sheet music than it is for some of us who only came up on DAWs. All of these things require making music and creating it, creating songs. Now, it's the same for you. How do you get started as an artist? Well, you've got to either find or write and then produce great songs. This is hard, right? Before you can start your marketing, before you can start making TikToks about showing off your music, you got to have the music done and made. So being an artist has a lot to do with making sure you already have music to show people. And I've seen this with artists for 30 years come to me and say, I really want to get into becoming an artist. I'm like, okay, cool. What songs do you have? Well, I don't have any songs yet. Maybe you can help me with that. I'm like, yeah, that'd be a good idea, I think, if we did that. Why don't we find some songs? That would be a good idea. Or make some. How do you get started if you want to be a composer? Well, you compose. Compose yourself. You need to compose. Write and compose great songs and produce them. And boom, you're a composer. Put out sheet music of that stuff and get that stuff out there. But again, I think so many people get it twisted. And maybe I am going on and on about this. And if I am, tell me. But if you've been in this hole before, if you've been in this place where you feel like you've been wanting to get into music, either as an artist, as a composer, or into sync licensing or stock licensing, and You found it difficult because you don't have the songs yet. Let me know. I know a lot of you watching have lots of songs. Some of you have some songs. Some of you have no songs. And that's okay. I just want to make sure that you know that the way to get into all of this is to have songs. And it's one reason why I started my Positive Spin Songs partner program, to start working with people, especially those who have questions to know if their music's ready, or if they just need help making the songs. Sometimes they can take it to a certain point, but it's not professional and ready to move on as an artist, as a composer, or as in licensing. They don't have the quality ready. And then, even if they do have the quality ready, they don't have the quantity of songs it's going to take to make any money in sync licensing or any kind of music career. So yeah, we think a lot of things are important that aren't important. And we keep trying to figure out which of these should I do first. Guess what? None of them you should do first if you're just starting. So where should your focus be, Eric? If you're so smart, where should I be putting my focus? Well, I'm going to tell you, if you'll just be patient. The first thing you should be doing, getting started as an artist, is finding, producing great songs. These are the same answers. You know, your focus should be here. That's why I'm repeating myself, is because this is where your focus should be, is on the songs. This week, I had to do a brief, which requires as many songs as I could do with the help of partners. And we all had to work on the songs for those briefs. We didn't have time to think about anything else. And I still don't have time because I have to make stems and things for them. None of that was my focus. My focus was not, how do I get a new library this week? How do I do this? I almost didn't do this video today because I need to be stemming these files to get to this library and getting all these files done, because I need to be working on the songs. I need to be composing, mixing, sending, and that all involves the songs. All the other stuff is stuff I'll take care of later. The library will take care of putting into BMI and copyright and all that kind of stuff. All the stuff about Spotify, the library will take care of that. The library will take care of Content ID. In this particular case, I don't have to do a lot on the other side, because once it's accepted into the library and ingested into the library takes care of it from there. That's why I love licensing through music libraries. And I know that there are people who say, oh, libraries are a waste of time because you just got to wait for somebody to find your songs instead of like you knocking on doors. That's fine. I get that too. If you're going to knock on doors, if you're going to spend all your time knocking on doors, when are you going to spend time making songs? That's my question. And so for me, working with libraries, it makes a lot more sense. Give me a thumbs up if you see that logic. But I just think that if I'm going to be wanting to be a real composer, working on songs all the time, and a real producer who's working on original works with others, I want to be working on the song stuff. And if you can't do this on your own, then you can get help. Maybe you have ideas for songs, but you can't produce them. I know this is a lot of you. If this is you, thumbs up. If this is you, put something in the chat or tell me in the comments below if you're watching this later. I can't tell you the hundreds of people who have come to me in my career and said, I have great ideas for songs. I have lyrics, I have melodies, but I can't produce them myself. I don't know how. I don't have the gear, and I need your help. And so I help them dig that song out of their brain and come up with that song and make it reality and then produce it. I'm doing that with artists now, helping them take the next step. Sometimes you can get it to a certain point with your DAW, but then that's as far as you can get it. Well, you need a co-producer and a co-writer. And that could be someone you know who will do it for free as part of the back end of the thing. Or it could be someone you pay as a work for hire person who is not part of the royalties. And so I do both of those things. I sometimes work with clients who pay me and pay players. I sometimes work with clients who pay me to produce them, and we also include players in the back end because they pay to be part of the song. Maybe you have beats, but you just need a better sound. Well, you can learn that on YouTube. There's plenty of classes. Like my buddy Steve And also, Dave teaches this great F52 just did a great video the other day about tension cues, how to make them, what instruments to use. You can learn how to make beats and better sound from these people. And so that's one place you can learn that. You can take classes in that as well. You can find a co-writer producer. Again, sometimes you just need that partner that's going to help you, that's helpful in all the ways. You can also have great songs and great production, and you're ready, but you don't know what to do here. Well, at this point, if you've got great songs, it's time to get pitching. It's time to do research and find the libraries that are going to do them. This is not a time to hire a company that's going to be a vehicle for you. If you've already got great songs and production, and you've shown it to people like Clint, my friend Clint of Clint Music, Anthony Clint Jr., he has a call-in show, a live show every week where he listens to people's beats and songs for sync, and he'll just listen for free. And there are other people who will listen for free. You can be part of communities like 52 Qs or Production Music Academy, and you can be part of both of these and show off your songs and get feedback. You can get feedback in our Discord for free. Just go to our Discord if you're a Discord person. We have a thriving Discord. You can find that down in the links below of either this video or the podcast. And go join our Discord. And there's a whole section of there, people just showing off their music and getting feedback from other people in the Discord. It's very helpful. You can find that online in lots of places, Facebook groups and different things like that. But get feedback. If people are telling you, dude, this is awesome, why aren't you pitching this? Then get pitching. And then the help you get is from a library that then starts to take your stuff and use it and put it into their catalog. So folks, it's the songs. I keep repeating the same slides, but this is the thing here. It's the answer to the most important thing in music is the songs. It's not anything else. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't make this something that you feel like it's something that you can't do. Make it about the songs, and I think you'll find that if you do that, it will become much more simple. Everything gets simple when you take it down to its most basic components. And being a musician or a composer or in a music licensing or any of these things is most easily doable by focusing on the main thing. Make the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is the music. Make music the main thing and focus there. Then all the other stuff will follow. Okay? Just focus on the music. Make the dang music. As I say all the time, I got to get a t-shirt. Make the dang music. Focus on that part first. If you're confused about all of this stuff, if you're watching this channel because I talk about licensing and you're like, it just seems so confusing, why don't you make sure you have the right music first? That's the key. And if you need help with that, make sure you get in touch with me about that. Gary Johnson said, invest in one's self-knowledge and health and create every day. Amen to that. David Hunt says, fire. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I got some songs. I got some songs too, David. Wolfgang says you need a lot of songs, 500 plus, to make significant income. Yep, I think 500, especially in libraries, is probably the start of seeing significant income, just like he said here. I've got about 250 in libraries right now, 250 to 300 now with all these new signings. And it's starting to get more significant. And I've had a few, and every once in a while you get some lucky song that hits for some reason and it works out well. But for the most part, you get a consistent growth as you get more songs into the marketplace. This can happen on Spotify too, but it really happens in licensing. The more songs you get out into the marketplace. And I think 500 is a good place. And if you're looking at 500, say, dude, I don't even have 5 yet. Well, then you know where your work is. You know where your work is cut out for you, is in making more songs. Mr. Reynolds says, my other half, I am the researcher of this business, as he took no classes. He has over 300 songs and only started seeing money last year, this year has been significantly better. And guess what? If you get to 400 tunes, next year will be significantly better than this year. And so on, and so on, and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Wolfgang says, everyone wants into sync, but don't miss out stock music libraries. There is still a high demand in good music. A lot of money is lying there. I agree. I could probably do more in that. Motion Array has paid a little bit more this month. I'm not sure why. I think if I put more in, guess what? I would make more. More songs equals more money in these type of situations, in licensing, in your shows, if you're an artist, on your Spotify and in streaming services, and pushing that. Whatever you're pushing, whatever your focus is. My focus is in licensing, but some people's focus is on Spotify and being an artist there. And so they are figuring out ways to get their music heard. And so, but if you're a person who says, I want to keep everything non-exclusive, I don't want to get into exclusive deals with my music, then stock licensing and libraries like Crucial Music and other non-exclusive libraries are probably where you want to focus. And that's okay. There's no right way to do this. I know people who are making thousands of dollars a month on stock licensing sites and other kinds of non-exclusive sites. So it can happen. It's just that exclusive libraries, exclusive sync libraries, there's more money going to those on a daily basis from TV shows who need music for their show, and they need to pay less money for it. And so they go to these libraries. They don't go to Pond 5. Actually, here's the thing. I have a graphic somewhere, but I won't even say it. I was watching a movie the other day on Netflix where were we watching it? Some Hallmark type of movie, Christmas movie. And at the end, my wife just started saying Pond 5, Pond 5, Pond 5, because at the end, under the songs, all the songs had been downloaded from Pond 5 and used. So since they used them on the credits, they likely filed a cue sheet. So the person they got the music super cheap up front. They didn't barely have to pay anything up front. They just probably got it from Pond 5. And then they used it in their movie, and now they're filing cue sheets, and there will be some PRO payments for those people who sold it. So, folks, it's a thinner line than you think sometimes for TV and where they're getting their music. Dead Rockstar says, the music has to come first. Talk is just talk. Excuses are just excuses. At some point, you've got to make the music. To quote Frank Zappa, shut up and play your guitar. Amen. There we go. There is today's message right there. Daydream says, I am really satisfied with the musical partnership with Eric Copeland. He has a lot of good contacts, is way better in networking than me, and has a lot of good ideas. And he's not giving things lost. Yes. All is not lost if you lose an opportunity. It's just a way for another opportunity. Whatever songs you make, you pitch it here, they say no. You pitch it here, they say yes, but then something happens. You pitch it here and they say no. It's okay, because there are other opportunities for your music, as long as you make the music. And that is the key and the biggest takeaway from today. Well, all right, everybody. I think that's about all I have today. If you're someone who is trying to figure out what the most important thing is, well, I'm here to tell you, folks, it is the songs. The songs are the most important thing that you can do. Junior Ross says, I'm thinking of doing Pond 5 exclusively. I see your point about wanting to maybe do it more, maybe make a little bit more from Pond 5. But I think that cuts you off, Clarence, of making a lot of music for other libraries inside of that kind of stock world. Motion Array is another great library you should try to get in. And there are others. There are other places like SongTrader and Crucial Music, and you could be pitching to the same song to all of these. And so I know going exclusive with Pond 5 might seem like, oh, but I'm going to make more there and maybe they'll treat me better. I would suggest going directly, not just to Pond 5, but to all of the places. If you're going to be in Pond 5, I suggest being non-exclusive. I don't think Pond 5 I don't think it's best to go exclusive at any of those type of libraries. There's too many songs. You know, if you're wondering what the difference between a stock music library like Pond5 is and a sync library is, the stock music like Pond5 has millions of songs with an S, millions, versus an exclusive sync library that maybe has 2,000, 3,000, maybe 5,000. They don't have a million tunes in there. So when someone comes to that library to search, they're much more likely to find your song than if they go to search at Pond5. So that's, I haven't done a stock versus sync type of thing for a while. If you'd like to see a presentation like I did today about that, kind of a teaching lesson about those two things, I can do that. Well, everyone, thanks so much for joining me. Everybody who is here, I hope you have a great day. But more than anything, I hope that you take away from this, that you need to walk away from this video right now and shut off YouTube and start making the dang music and get it ready for whatever the thing is that you want to do. Thanks, everybody. Give this video a thumbs up, and we will see you next time on the Make Music Income podcast. I hope you have a great weekend and happy holidays this week, and have a great Thanksgiving. I have a lot to be thankful for, and you guys are part of that. So I hope you have a great holiday week, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.